Hey guys, welcome to my studio. So this will be a studio tour. A lot of you people have been asking for a studio tour for some time now. So I thought that, what the hell, let's do one. So the purpose for this studio is just for me to have a place where I record music, where I write music, where I can mix and master music. So this was never intended to be a commercial place. However, I do mix and master other people's recordings. If someone would ask me, I would probably let them in to record some stuff if I like them. So this studio is 4.5 meters that way, 5.5 meters that way. So it's a really small studio. It's 25 square meters. And for you that don't use the metric system, use Google. Google is your friend. So as you can see, I have this console. We can call it the heart of the studio. It's a Yamaha PM 3500. I use this as a split console. That means the first 16 channels I use as mic preamps, and the 8 last I use as mic preamps. In between, I have 24 channels running in and out from my DAW, which I use is Logic Pro X. The only time when I'm using the console's preamps is when I'm recording a lot of microphones, like a drum set. Then I want all the same mic pre's for the whole drum kit. If I'm recording a guitar or vocals or anything else, then I have a couple of other mic pre's that I'm going into. But this is a great console. It has great preamps. They are kind of clean preamps. It's got great EQ on all the channels. But I think it's ridiculous to turn on a 52 channel console if I'm gonna record a vocal. So this actually used to belong to a place I worked before. This was the front of house console at the theater that I worked in before they changed to a digital console. I guess this one is from like early 2000, perhaps 2004 or something like that. It's in great condition. It has never been on the road. It's always been in front of house in that theater. And now it's in my studio. So I'm happy with it. It's running smoothly. And it's got 8 VC8 faders. So let's say I'm having 12 channels of drums. I can move everything to VCA 1, which is a stereo VCA. So I get a whole drum kit on one fader. And that's great when I want to mix, because I put everything up and I have it on these faders. Instead of using the automation in the DAW, I just run through the faders here, which is great. And the speaker that I'm using, KRK Rokit 6, and I also have a 10-inch KRK sub down at the floor. We don't need to look at that. Okay, let's move on. So the thing that I have to control the DAW is actually this. The Presonus fader port. One flying fader, and you can mute the solo, play, rec, do a lot of stuff. It's great. I hardly ever use any mouse. And when I use a mouse, I use this one. It's a tracking pad, Apple tracking pad. I don't know how they call that. I don't know. I get a much better feeling when I'm using my fingers than if I would have used a mouse. Because now I can click on a fader and move up and down in the DAW. Okay, so let's do the rack thing. Okay, so this is the racks. I got 4 of these racks. These are 12 units high. So on the top, I have an Alctron MP73 EQ. This basically is a Neve 1073 style. It sounds really good. It's quite affordable. I use this every day on my kick drum. Beneath that is a Pro VLA2. I just love this compressor. It's kind of affordable. It's an optical compressor, kind of like the LA2A, but it has attack and release time, and it can work a little bit faster than an LA2A style. This is great on kick, on snare, on toms, just about anything you drive it through. But to me, most of the time I use this on snare or toms. Beneath that one, it's Toft audio design. It's a FET compressor. It's like the 1176 little brother. Use it sometimes on toms. I have used this as parallel compression. Beneath that is probably one of the most sold compressors of all time. It's the Alesis 3630 compressor. A lot of people will say that it's just garbage. You can't make any good sound coming out of it. Well, to those people I say you're wrong, because this is actually great compressors. They are so good, they actually have 3 of them, 3 stereo compressors of them. Now the thing that's tricky with this compressor, it's the ratio of, and I'm not talking about the ratio of the compression, but the ratio of the knobs on the compressor itself. it's so high, when you're turning it a little bit, it makes a huge difference. So you have to be really careful when setting these. Every day I use the gates on the compressors, and I also use some of the compressors for, like, I don't know, I use it on anything. They're kind of good on bass guitars. I use it on hi-hats. These are my compressors when my rack is full. When I don't have any more to go to, I'm using this one. The sound card is a Presonus Quantum 2626. It's an 8-channel sound card. You got 2 ADATs in and out. So together I have 24 channels. I would actually like to get another one. I would like to have 48 channels for mixing. So let's get on to the second rack. There's a lot of cables here. I don't know if you can see this. I'm gonna get closed up anyway. But there is 6 channels of patch bay. I actually have 1 patch bay for each rack. And then there is the computer patch bay, 24 channels, and then there are 24 channel preamps. And beneath here, there's 2 stereo Orban EQ. I think they are called 642 or 624. Don't remember. You can write it in my comments if you know. It's a black face. There is also a blue face. These 2 are the black face. Sometimes I can use it on kick, sometimes on snare. Mostly I use it on toms and electric guitars. They're kind of good for that. They're cool EQs and they're not that expensive. You should get it. Okay, so this is rack number 3. Up here I have a DBX163X. This is super good on kick and snare. If you want a DBX160 sound, you can get these ones kind of cheap. It only has 1 knob. It's an over easy compressor limiter. It's kind of fun because the slider, it says more. So you go into more. And what it does is it's going from compression to limiter. So the more you push the slider, the higher the range you will get. Super easy to use, and it has just 160 sound. It's really, really good. I use this mostly on kick. Beneath that is a Samson C-Valve preamp. I hardly ever use it. It's not even plugged in. Beneath that is a Behringer Ultragraph Pro. This EQ has only one purpose, and that's for the correction of the room. Beneath is a CD player. And then I have the Klark Teknik KT2A. Klark Teknik's takes on LA2A. I use them on overhead, on vocals, on guitars, you name it. On bass, especially on bass, they're great. Beneath that one is the Klark Teknik 76KT. It's their style of Element 76 compressor. It sounds super good. Beneath that, the Warm Audio 76, also a great 1176 style compressor. Beneath that, I have the Lindell Audio 17XS, super good 1176 style compressor. It got a little bit more dirt. This one actually kind of reminds me of Blue Stripe a little bit more. Okay, this is the final rack. So up here is a Golden Age Pre-73 Junior. It's a 1073 style preamp, which then goes into Golden Age 81 EQ, I think it's called, which basically is a Neve 1081 style preamp EQ. I use this one. I use most on snare, and I also track a lot of vocals through this one. So beneath here is my little effect rack. On the top is the Boss Reverb Box RX100. Beneath that, it says here the TC Electronics M1. Beneath that, the TC Electronic M2000. And beneath that, we have Klark Teknik Baltic style EQs, the Eqp-kt. I have 4 of them. I love these one. I love them a lot. First I got 2, and then I started to know what I can do with them, so I got 2 more. I could actually use a couple more. These are really affordable. This sounds really good. I don't care what somebody said. I like this one. They make my music sound much better. End of story. Okay, so this is the guitar land. This is where I record my electric guitars, or most of them. So this amp that I'm sitting on is actually a PV Classic 30. Really, really good amplifiers. I really love this amp. There's no amp that sounds like this one. At least what I know of. This is a really special sound. For us that grew up with the grunge music, these are great. This is actually a PV also. It's a Valve King 100. I know there's supposed to be painted wings here on a metal sheet. It looks awful, so I took it out and I just kept the PV logo. This is also a PV 4x12 cab. I have taken out all the logos because I thought it looked much more cooler. And this one, let's see if I can get up. So this one is my homemade pedal board. The pedal board I didn't do, but all the pedals I have actually made myself. They are made out of kits. A lot of people have asked me, when will I paint them? I will never paint them. I have decided that my pedal board is not going to have colors. The only color that my pedal board is going to do is when I put on the pedals. It goes in here. This is a crybaby that I can mod a little bit. I can make it a little hotter. So then I'm going into an optic compressor. Then I'm having a fuzz. Don't know what that's supposed to be. And the next one is a clone of a Tube Screamer. And the last one is a clone of a Clone Centaur. Up here I have a tremolo, which is super great. And I also have a delay. I made this myself. These pedals are great. Most of the pedals are kits that I bought from Build Your Own Clone pedals. You can Google it. Super fun and super easy to do. You just have to learn how to solder. So this is the guitar department. Let's walk over to the drum set. Okay, so this is a drum set. This is an old Pearl Export. I think it's from 1989 or 1990, I'm not sure. Back when Pearl exported was great, affordable kits. They are built like a tank. The snare that I'm using is Millennium Power Brass snare. The hi-hat and the ride is, I don't know, some cheap stuff called Galaxy. They actually came with a kit. So I'm using a 17-inch crash, it's a Sultan. And I'm using a 16-inch crash, it's a Paiste. I don't know. This is my drum. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. That's what I have, that's what I use. I have said before in a lot of episodes that my studio is dead. This is why. I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but the walls are soft. There's fabric all around. So all the walls in here are soft. So that makes the room really dead. So if I want to have, I don't know, when I'm tracking drums, I want a large studio room, then I have to fabricate that later on in the DAW. Okay, so this is my cozy place. This is a place where I can sit and write songs, have a little table where I can use paper and pen, or have a drink stand. These are boxes full of cables and some microphones. I have some more microphones over there. I have a MIDI keyboard that's only standing here when I'm not using it. Otherwise I'm using it. I have a stand in front of the console. Got a couple of bongas, some guitars, a bass guitar. I have more guitars at home. I have more microphones at home. And this pretty much sums it up, I think. This is the grand tour of my small, humble studio. I know I'm fortunate to have all of this stuff, but I didn't buy all of this like in a year. I have been doing this for a lot of years, and I have ended up buying gears one at a time and building up my studio. The one thing that I'm missing in this studio is actually a name for the studio. I don't have a name for it. Do you have a name for my studio? Let me know. There's not a contest. If I choose your name, you will not win anything, but you will always know that you named my studio. Please leave a comment and let me know what I should call my studio. Anyway, hit the like button, please subscribe. Until next time, have a nice life. Goodbye.